Three, two, one, and we are live. Hey everyone, welcome back to Real Time Talk with Eagle 3D Streaming. I am Quentin Anderson, the host of today's podcast. I am extremely excited for our guests. This is the first time we've had more than one guest on the podcast at the same time. We have the co-founders of LeapN, Adam and Evan. To give a brief background, Adam, prior to discovering Web3 in April 2021, Adam produced television for 12 years. His credits include NBC's American Ninja Warrior and Lifetime's Dance Moms. Evan has a background in electrical and computer engineering and entrepreneurship, and he founded LeapN in 2021. Adam and Evan, how are you guys doing today?
So good.
Doing
How are you
awesome. Thanks for having us.
Yeah, thank you guys so much for joining. Before we dive into it, just to share the format of our podcast for any of our new viewers, it is a live show, which means that we highly encourage participation from our audience. This is all about just getting the information that you need into your hands. So please don't hesitate to ask a question in the comments section of the YouTube feed. But guys, let's get into it. So the first thing that would be interesting to explore is, how did you two meet, and how did the whole LeapN thing come to be?
Man, Evan, do you want to take this one away?
You take it away, Adam. Go ahead.
Okay. So Evan and I both sort of we were magnetized, if you will, to Web3 for our own different reasons. Now, this is back a year and a half ago, or maybe even a little bit more. I had directed a documentary and was looking for a form of escapism after I worked on a film for that long. I wanted to do something that wasn't watching movies. I think I was just burnt out from movies. And I had heard about this thing called the metaverse. However, when I sort of leaped into one, so to speak, it wasn't as fun as I had hoped. And it was a very small community that comprised everyone else who had sort of discovered Web3 at the same time. And this was back when Bored Ape Yacht Club first started minting their PFPs. And I had met somebody on Twitter with under 100 followers named Ferb. And he was the only person in the community of Web3 folk on Twitter who felt the same way, that the metaverse was lacking, and that, he also had a vision for how it could be better. And furthermore, he was a coder and could do something about it, whereas I wasn't and couldn't. So he had made this declaration on Twitter to his less than 100 followers, like a lunatic, saying that he was going to make his own metaverse. And I wrote him off. I was like, okay, this guy's a wacko. All good. Let's meet some more Web3 people. Sure enough, 3 weeks later, he announced that it was done. I hit him up. He invited me to LeapN, and I got to play his metaverse. And it was by far the most fun experience I had had in Web3.
Yeah, and so, now we fast forward to almost the end of 2022, and I think it would really help just to get some context for everything that we'll explore today. What exactly is LeapN?
Evan, you created it. Go ahead.
LeapN, it sounds so cliche, but it's everything you want it to be. It's a make your own metaverse platform. It's a platform that lets you take your imagination and actualize it into this digital reality. You can build any kind of environment you want. You can invite people in. You can do all sorts of things. You can sell your precious NFTs or services that you offer to others. You have social gatherings. You have podcasts like this. And it's a way to actually channel your passion into something, whether it's art, engineering, podcasts, and everything. And it's just a new medium in order to express all of this.
So
Yeah, oh, sorry, go ahead.
No, please go for it.
Oh, and it's just this new commerce transportation system is how I like to think of it, of cryptocurrency, to where on top of everything else, you're getting to monetize your passion and you're getting to make a lot more money from it than you would ordinarily on an existing social media platform or content platform.
So how am I able to earn on your platform, and how was I not able to do so before LeapN?
Well, one example is I like to use a low hanging fruit example. We have a community member named Mila Lowly who has since made quite a name for herself. Um, and she's this incredible artist that was actually Evan's first ever foray into experimenting with what became LeapN. And I'll let him share that story momentarily. But long story short, she made one of her NFTs, which was prior to LeapN existing, just an MP4 video that someone could go onto one of these premier NFT marketplaces and purchase it for a premium. Well, a lot of these artists had really beautiful work and it was just sort of sitting on the marketplaces. So what Evan here did is he made their art, he took it and made it explorable. So their holders not only watch a short video of it, they could actually immerse themselves within the art and explore the art. And it really opened the door to what these artists could achieve. And it challenged them to explore their own artistry even more so that they could hide Easter eggs there within their own art for their holders to discover. So Mila, now that LeapN existed and Evan took one of her pieces and like made it explorable, she made a new piece of art specifically for LeapN, knowing that it would be explorable ahead of time. And it was this beautiful psychedelic-y mushroom land is how I would describe it. And, you know, after this was said and done and we were, you know, hosting it, thanks to your technology, Quentin, and people were able to sort of leap in and tour it, Mila was able to sell that for 10 Ethereum. And that's a lot of money. So I think if she were here, I would like to hope, and I can never speak for her, I would like to hope that she'd be able to say she would not have been able to do that had it not been for being able to make her art explorable and playable. And I think that was the beauty of LeapN. So as you can see, just hearing us talk, we're in love with this platform. We're in love with the technology. And above all, what it's sort of opening the door for artists to be able to do for once.
It's a matter of adding additional utility to existing. Well, there's artwork, there's assets, there's services, adding additional utility. So for these virtual worlds, it's no longer a 2D MP4 on a web page. Now you can actually leap into it virtually. We also, LeapN has jetpacks as NFTs, and it's one thing to like have like a cool flashy video of a jetpack as an NFT. Someone buys it, it's like, oh cool, I have this cool object. But it's another thing to be able to step into a 3D world, see the jetpack NFT in 3D floating in a cabinet, walk up to it, mint it, strap it on your back, and use it right away. And that's what we've done. So it's adding that extra dimension of utility for these creators.
So both the 3D world that I can leap into as well as assets within that 3D world are both mintable NFTs and can be experiences shared within your platform. Is that?
That's the utility that we're building out, and
I'll show you a video.
Yeah,
I'm going to show
a lot
you.
of that has already been delivered.
Yeah, we're going to take a look at Mila's video that sold for 10 ETH, the explorable world. So this is what she launched with us. You can see that here. Should I make it bigger?
Yeah. And can you just kind of talk us through what we're looking at, what we're seeing? So did she make this entire 3D world?
Yeah, she made this entire 3D world and then worked with us to get it explorable and get it launched and live on the LeapN platform, which in summation is 603 unique metaverses built by our holders, because we have 603 worlds. And that lure of being sort of this land product gets more intricate, and we'll explore that in a bit. But for the sake of this conversation, we love the story of Mila because she's an example of the kind of person we were hoping to attract into the community all along. She's just a hardcore art. She's the real deal. And you get to see her doing her thing with virtual reality goggles on these days and just diving deeper into what's possible in this space. So that's what we like about her, is that she never does the same thing twice, and she's always exploring how she can sort of one up herself.
So can you guys see my screen share here? I have an awesome video here.
Yes, we can.
So Mila's work is an example of taking creators that are already using things like Unreal Engine and giving them a platform to deploy their work and extend that utility. Here on the video I'll show, this is our in-game, in real time world builder. So if you have one of our 603 founders worlds, you can utilize it with this kind of catalog of assets where in real time you're building, you're placing, you can play in it as you're testing, and eventually publish it for people to come in with you and play. And you can see
go ahead.
Sorry?
So are each of the 603 worlds sort of a blank canvas, and then after I own one of those worlds, can put whatever I want into it?
Yeah, to an extent. Meaning we do have base worlds, and if we have holders who tell us, yo, we don't really want to have to create our entire world, can you give us a start? We have one holder that we'll show you in a second here, where we gave him the start of an island. We essentially took our Leap and Lux resort, which is 8 worlds combined. It's just massive. And we gave him a little mini island of 500 acres for him to start for his Founders D world. So we don't, because we are a land company with the 603 world universe, or multiverse rather, we like to really leverage what's possible with Web3 by helping people rather than just treating ourselves like there's a giant wall separating us from the holders. We're fused together with our team, with our community.
And you can see, I just wanted to point out before I close the screen share, this whole demo, like you can see through the whole video, this was all played in browser, you can see. And that's high quality graphics, 3D environment in real time, building and playing in these virtual worlds on LeapN.
Yeah, but Evan, tell them the best part, and that is not only are you able to build these explorable worlds, and this is a departure from what we discussed with Mila. So for what Evan just showed you, he's never used Unreal Engine, and he built that in 30 minutes. So what LeapN, sort of the value add here, is that we are the Canva.com of metaverse building, of video games and social hubs and that convergence. And that's what's powerful about this. People can build experiences for their buddies to leap into, for their communities to leap into. A child is going to be able to roll out of bed, and they're going to be able to build the dream that they just had, share it with their spouse in 25 years. You know what I mean? So that's what we're trying to achieve here. We want things to be super intuitive, easy, and quick, to where a grandpa can do it or a little 5-year-old can do it.
And this is actual gameplay as well in browser.
Wow. So and for this gameplay, whose world is this?
So this is actually one of LeapN's featured worlds. We call it the LeapN Luxury Resort. It's actually 8 of our Founders Deed worlds put together into one massive attraction.
4,000.
And you can talk a little bit about, yeah, exactly. And you can talk a little bit about that and the plots and everything if you'd like, Emma.
Oh, wonderful. So we wanted to show, we wanted to sort of lead by example and show Founders Deed holders what they're going to be able to do. And we think that in what NFTs did for the world, it served as this sort of like mystical monolith. And all of us as human beings are sort of like how do we use these NFTs? What can we do with these NFTs? And there was one of the very first ever published NFTs. The creator was interviewed about it, and he had launched this NFT with this sophisticated code of Solidity, which is what Ethereum's coded with. And people sort of pestered him. They were like, "Well, what is the artwork that's attached to your NFT?" And he said nothing. And he said the token is the art. And as you know, NFTs are called tokens. And that really stuck with me. And what I feel that LeapN is doing is sort of adding a layer on top of that. And we feel like what artists like Mila, as well as all of our holders, and even me, are discovering is that within the metaverse that you're getting to build yourself, the utility is the art. And whatever we can sort of whatever we can surmise out of our own world, and sort of like, hey, LeapN, I'm a holder talking to Evan and Adam right now. Sorry. Hey, LeapN, I want to be able to do this with my world. Then we can in turn be able to code that. And there's a lot more direct sort of like through line between the creators and the developers and the holders of the community. And then next thing you know, it's a fully fleshed out ecosystem, because there was no sort of no like intermediary wall that caused a divide between what the community wanted or what the customers want. Because ultimately, this community of 603 Founders Deed holders, that'll serve as a very concrete foundation, and that'll scale to hopefully everyone. Everyone will be able to create their own metaverse at mass, and then we'll have this community of 603 holders that'll benefit and sort of be like at the forefront of everything. We think of them as like founding fathers and founding mothers, because we have a lot of females in our community too.
So let's explore the experience for a holder a little bit more. So if I'm interested in owning one of the 603 worlds, what do I do? And how do I build the world? What's sort of my experience to getting on LeapN as a holder?
So you go to OpenSea. Oh, Evan, go ahead.
No, go. You can go. You go ahead. I'll talk about the building after.
Great. So you go to OpenSea, which is a marketplace for purchasing NFTs. And back when we started in the industry, you could only purchase them with Ethereum, but they've simplified it since. And you can do it with a credit card now even. So you go to OpenSea and you pick up a floor item, a floor deed. And I think our floor is relatively inexpensive. It sort of fluctuates into, we were for Ethereum at one point in time, which is about $8,000 for a Founders Deed world. And I think our floor might be...
so I'm sharing it here. This is the OpenSea NFT marketplace. And this is where like the worlds are like on sale for the marketplace. And all of these holders, you can see that there's different kinds. And what they'll be able to do is we're starting to roll this out already. We actually have a member already building. They'll be able to access that interface that I showed with the catalog of assets, build out an experience, and share that environment with others, and have others come in and play. And as you saw, adding in kind of like social and game mechanics. And eventually we're going to expand our compatibility for people like Mila to take their externally built environments in Unreal Engine and port it into our platform via these Founders Deeds. Nice.
So the first step is I go to OpenSea, I grab a Founders Deed, and then the world building begins. And, in the future, we've got where I can import my UE world into directly, and we also have tools available by LeapN to build the world. Mm-hmm. Then once I have the world, how do I share it with my community? How do they actually access and get into the world?
So we have different milestones we're hitting as a company, and I think we have a number of sales we're looking to hit with our Lux Resort plot, which we'll get to in a little bit here. But after we hit a certain amount of milestone, we're launching our desktop app, and our desktop app is is when Evan, will you help me? Evan finishes my sentence sometimes, and I finish
Yeah.
his. Yeah.
So what'll happen is we'll start rolling out access for people to use the building tool, as you saw in the video, and eventually we're going to start rolling out some of these worlds to be featured worlds for people to come in en masse for multiplayer, and eventually we're going to roll out building and publishing for the plots as well. So people are going to get to build. When they're ready to share it with the community, they publish it, or they likely click a publish button. And what'll happen to start with is people will be able to kind of individually hop in and just look around. And then soon we'll be taking a bunch of those worlds and featuring them in multiplayer and events and all kinds of online attractions.
Yeah. So I'm going to show the trailer for the Lux Resort here in a second. I want to set it up real quick. So as I started earlier, and go ahead, Quentin.
No. It looked like you. Yeah, go for it.
Okay. So as I started earlier, we wanted to show off lead by example and show off the utility of a founder seed world. And we thought, well, we have a lot of holders in the community who own more than one founder seed world. And how can we sort of reward that? One idea was that we could daisy chain worlds together and make a bigger world. And we could do some sort of burn mechanism, meaning you're burning your worlds in order to get a bigger one. And in addition to that, we can do a boom mechanism, which means you can blow up your worlds to get a bunch of plots to sell through our marketplace. So we came up with this concept within our lore, which is very astrophysics and pseudoscience even heavy, even though pseudoscience is slowly becoming reality, but that's a different nerdier topic. So we came up with two different airdrops that we're actually doing early Q2 of next year, and one is, let's just call it the daisy chain for now. It's not called that, but we're going to call it that. So daisy chain, where you can take every world you have and smush them together. And then we're also going to have that boom token where holders have the opportunity to blow up their world. And it loosely follows the whole what Bored Ape Yacht Club did with the Bored Ape Chemistry Club, meaning if you're a holder, you don't necessarily have to leverage that token. You don't have to blow up your world. You don't have to smush them together. You can sell it. So we wanted to give our holders that value add where they can make some money if they don't intend to do it for the sake of their artistry, or if they don't want to make a business out of it, out of a more colossal sized land. So with the luxury resort, again, we have 8 worlds, which is 4,000 total acres of land. And in terms of utility, we have done treasure hunts. We have done just all these different things. And what's fun at LeapN is we do everything manually, and then we slowly sort of do the coding afterward. And that way we're not inhibited by the exploration. It's we call it in the field testing, because we can have people test out how fun it is to do a treasure hunt for NFT reward. And if people have fun doing it, which we found they did, then we get to code that in and make it automated. So that's it in a nutshell. We were able to do the lore for a PFP collection we have that a Marvel illustrator did, who has since gotten picked up by a Nickelodeon as a character designer. But he's a great artist named Josh. Jux is his artist name. And he did 600 Machine Elf PFPs for us. So we had him do those, and they are available on OpenSea as well. And then we had this 3D artist named Xandra out of Australia, who she did all the 3D work for the movie Cats, like the Broadway adaptation that was really silly. And she's well aware of how silly it is. And she did the Tom Hanks movie Finch, 3D work for that as well. So she did the first 2 ever 3D adoptions of our Machine Elves. So it's a very quirky, wacky universe. and we see these machine elves as sort of living behind the veil, like they're the wizard of the Wizard of Oz kind of deal, and they're rewarding certain actions within the LeapNverse and giving consequences for other actions in the LeapNverse.
So
So
I
yeah,
just want to say it's a very diverse ecosystem we have, and there's a lot we can get into. One thing I
yeah,
wanted to touch on is that a lot of this and like the experiences that have been delivered have been thanks to technologies like Eagle and being able to grant an accessible experience to players across the globe through browser. And it's us working with technology companies like Eagle that contributes to us achieving this vision and delivering an experience for our holders.
And thank you for saying that, Evan. I mean, you guys know that I think the world of you two, and I love the platform that you guys have developed. Did you ever imagine that it would turn out to be this diverse when you first started out? And how much innovation have you kind of come up with along the way? And how much, from day one, this is a plan and it all went according to plan? Or has there, been a lot of invention and innovation along the way?
I'll split that into two parts. How far it's come and what we think, and then the innovation. I don't want to say by accident, but I I almost didn't start LeapN. I was in the NFT space, in the crypto space, and I followed Mila on Twitter, and I saw like all of these expansive worlds that she made, and I kept asking like, oh, so can we like go inside of these? And then she would say no, like they're just videos on the marketplaces right now. And I started thinking like with my technical background, well, what kind of technologies exist right now? Like I want to leap into this thing. And I remember laying in bed one day and not having any plans that day and thinking, well, I know exactly how I can make it so I can leap into her world. So I'm just going to build a demo and show it to her because I think it'd be cool. And so I spent 3 days, and 3 days later, I sent a message to her. And I said, "Hey, can you check out my website? I'm walking around in your world." And then she was impressed, and then I kept like adding on to it to make it more cool. And then other people started seeing it, and they thought, "Wow, this is really awesome. Can you do it with my work?" So I did it with people's photos, like panoramic photos. I did it with people's avatars, so you can meet all of them in like 360 and VR. And eventually, I always saw I made like a website that's like a catalog of all of these worlds and avatars, and I always saw it as becoming a metaverse one day. And I saw it eventually getting to that point. And when Adam came on board, that's definitely when it started to converge into this metaverse focused experience to bring Leap into what it is today. So back then, I didn't. I hoped it would become a metaverse in a 3D environment, but I didn't think it would evolve to like this expansive in real time Unreal experience as it is today with so much opportunity. So that's very great to see.
So
As
do you
far
want
as
to? Oh, sorry.
sorry,
I was
I
going
was
to
just going to cover the second part of the
do
topic.
it.
As
Do
far
it.
as innovations along the way, um, just like when I wanted to step into her world and I couldn't, I figured out a way to do it, and I shared it with her and people. Just like that, when we were building LeapN along the way, there's things we wanted to do, and there was no way to do it, nothing we could just use, so we had to build it. For instance, we wanted to be able to walk up to those jetpacks you saw in the videos and mint them directly in the game. There wasn't really anything to do that, so we built out the mechanics, and now we have it working so you can walk up to an NFT in game, mint it, it gets added to your account, your inventory, you can use it directly in game, the 3D model. And we were the first to the market with minting NFTs in game in a 3D Unreal Engine environment. We were also the first to deliver in the industry on multiplayer co-building in Unreal Engine environment
In real time. In real time.
in real time. So what we delivered was a demo. I don't have a video of it queued up right now, but that world builder that you saw, having multiple people online at the same time in browser, building a world together, photorealistic, and then being able to toggle between edit mode and play mode instantly. And we were the first in the market to deliver that as well.
Yeah, and there's one more first that's fun. That's a lot of fun. So we got to work with another artist in the space. He's just an incredible 3D artist who has some great stuff on Super Rare, which is one of the really cool marketplaces for 3D artwork. And he wanted to see his 3D art turned into a video game, an adventure game. And I wanted to share that video right now. It's pretty awesome. Here we go.
Wow.
Now that was one of the first promos we ran and created, and it was sort of the second opportunity we had to stop sharing. Here we go. There we go. It was the second opportunity we had to co-build with someone else in the space and work with them and co-create their vision. And his artwork was already incredible. He didn't need any help from us, but what we were able to do for him is to put all of the characters he had created, those awesome robot characters, and put them in the context of what they would look like as a video game. And that was also an experiment for us. And we got to work with a really dope world builder out of London to do that post-apocalyptic setting. And Evan, how we accomplished that in 14 days, right? That was pretty quick.
Pretty quick turnaround, and we were already having people leaping in playing with it.
Yeah. So, Evan has this really, really good skill set that's obviously a direct fit for what we're doing. And I take my skill set from working in television and managing editors, and we put that in the vein of working with Unreal Engine developers, and it's pretty cool. They're all getting to work in ways they've never worked before in other video games they've worked on, and we're getting to sort of like, I guess they're getting to test their own boundaries. I don't know, Evan, you know what I'm trying to say. Will you drive it home? The developers,
it's nice because all the people that we've worked with, this is their passion, and
Yes.
they've all loved working on this project. And I don't want to say the real world, but that's what's nice about entrepreneurship, because you get to actually work on your passion and what you want to do, and it's not, oh, does it fit into the job I'm doing? I'm not really working on what I want to and what makes me happy. So that's what I love about this opportunity for myself and for everyone we've got to work with.
Yeah, and one of our developers, we found out they were playing hooky with a AAA video game they were working on, and they were putting more time and effort into LeapN because it's just a completely different project than they've ever gotten to do. And frankly, we treat our developers way better. So it was cool hearing that and learning that, and that they were trying to hide it from us because they thought we would terminate the contract if we found out that they were double dipping. But we liked it, obviously, so we thought it was fun.
Yeah. You guys have a very, very cool vibe about you, and it goes without saying the skill of your UE team and 3D team. Obviously, you guys are very, very skilled at what you're doing. Unfortunately, we've already come up at the half hour. I know it goes by super, super fast. So thank you, Adam and Evan, for taking the time to join us. If someone wants to leap in, what's the best way for them to do that?
I would say join our Discord. If you can check out our Twitter at LeapNverse, we have a link to our Discord there. Let me get that up for you guys. So here, if you find us on Twitter, LeapNverse, discord.gg/LeapN, find us in Discord, and we'll get you guys started in the community.
Exactly. And just to give context, it says round 1 closed. So that was the mint for the new LeapN Lux Resort Plunge. And we are gearing up to launch round 2. So get into our Discord and we'll sort of outline what that looks like and what to look forward to and how you can get building as soon as possible with us. So hope to see you in there.
Awesome. And we'll also include a link to your Twitter and Discord in the YouTube post if anyone wants to check it out directly. Congratulations, both you guys, to all your success. I mean, it's truly a pleasure working with your company. Thank you so much for finding the time to chat with me today. I'm Quentin Anderson with Real Time Talk with Eagle 3D Streaming. We've been chatting with LeapN today, co-founders Adam and Evan, and please be sure to catch us on the next show. Thanks, everyone. See you next time.
Thank you.
Guys.